Tyler, I have a question for you.
Now I'm drinking a beer by myself.
Tyler, I'm asking you a question.
Yeah,
As a friend,
Yes.
as a co-host,
Yes.
been reading a lot of Red Lantern stuff when we did our sideshow, Modern Mythology. What I think you would be a Red Lantern. I would just throw that out there.
That's really original. I have red hair.
No, I'm just saying you got a really short temper and you just kind of proved
Whatever, man. Whatever, dude.
I don't even know if I have one on my shelf.
Whatever, dude.
I was to say what power.
That's it.
What color you think you are, but I think you just answered.
I fucking quit. Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking weed.
Me. I'm married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.
Oh,
What the hell happened?
nothing. Don't talk about it. If they wouldn't have even known, and now they know. Start over the pot. No. Welcome to Off Panel, Off Topic number 155. I'm Jake,
That's right, because last week was 154.
and that's Tyler.
Good job.
We got that figured out in post, everybody, because I couldn't remember if it was 53.
You know, with all
it's because
these
Furiosa messed it up because we had an extra episode in between.
all these devices that we have, and neither one of us thought to look it up.
I could have done it while
we were
confused.
recording.
I literally have the computer where the other files are on. But
We are smart.
by the way, record-breaking time
Ooh.
in terms of singing, because you sang in like the first 4 seconds of this week's episode.
This past week or this week?
This current episode, you were singing within the 3 seconds. We were talking
Are you
about
talking about the cold open?
Yeah.
That doesn't. Cold open never counts.
Oh,
man.
come on.
No, because if that's the case, then we always swear within the first 10 seconds.
Oh, that's fucking bullshit.
Well, there you go on swearing.
204.
I haven't sang yet, and we're keeping it that
bullshit. You sang in the open.
way. That doesn't count.
It's part
Cold
of the
opens
show.
do not count.
I'm glad we're doing this on the air.
Keep the running total. I will not sing until the fucking goddamn episode is over. I promise you.
So this one is gonna be.
I almost went into a song right there. I promise you. You know?
I promise
Don't.
you.
That's you though.
I'm sorry, but I. Yeah. What about me? What's the rules?
I'm
on
just
me?
saying, like.
So
it's okay
So
if
I
you do
didn't.
it.
Full confession. Our father.
Who art in heaven? Give us a
I
stare,
did
Daddy
not
God.
watch the most. I have still. We're recording this on Sunday. I've still yet to see the most recent episode of The Acolyte. So we're just.
Acolyte!
I'm gonna take this mic out of the stand. 'cause
That
it's
sounds
annoying.
good. Sounds good.
Because the stand.
You don't want it like falling and just launching.
don't
into your
want it.
junk.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the way it would fall, the trajectory is like literally just wham
Yeah. That's a headbutt.
off of the table.
That's a headbutt, buddy. The head of the mic.
That is not fun.
You do the math.
You do the math.
It
2
takes
heads.
2 heads to butt.
Ouch.
Let's look out for our new single. It takes
That's a
2
figurative butt,
heads to butt.
not a literal butt.
Damn, I really tried to bait you into a song there.
No, I will not.
I'm a
Until the-
I'm a master, you know. So we're gonna be a little bit boys centric.
Maybe.
Little boys centric this week. So we want to talk about the most recent episode
Mm-hmm.
of The Boys, and because we're not watching The Acolyte,
As much.
we're gonna
I watched it.
we'll review the next 2 episodes. So I'll watch episode 4, and then we'll just review it when we review episode
For the
5.
record, I give it a 2.5 out of 5.
Oof.
And here's why. They wasted a lot of opportunities in this episode. Especially after the last one was a little bit of a stinker.
That was a step in the wrong direction.
And they kind of didn't really dig themselves out yet.
So we'll be talking about
see.
The Boys episode 4, and then we'll season 4 episode 4, and then we'll also be talking about how it took 3 seasons for these right wingers to find their grift on this show, and now that the show has lost, and I will say, yes, if you look at the trajectory of the show. And throughout the series, like season 4 is less subtle about the fact that it's being out of its way to be like, yeah, firecrackers, Marjorie Taylor Greene,
her whole
Homelander's
thing,
Trump.
her
like,
whole thing was like, hey, it's in the Jew part of the Bible, but it's still in the Bible. That part fucking, oh my God.
A show that's been doing
So
it.
spot
By the
on.
way, a show has been doing this in existence. But because of the nature of the story and the trajectory of where it's going and where we are as a society, that it's got to kind of be really blatant and being like, hey, no, you're the bad guys. We're making fun of you and those kind of people. And then
when he's out of season, when they're not filming, Anthony Starr grows his hair back brown the way it usually is, and a beard.
he gets annoyed because people think he actually
because
acts
he
like
doesn't,
Homelander.
Yeah, he doesn't want
I'm
to
an
be
actor.
associated with this psychopathic fucking narcissist.
That's
dude.
what he said in the interview. He's a psychopathic narcissist.
So thank you for not thinking that I'm like that.
Yeah. Thanks. But yeah, that's the thing. People have. I honestly look.
He does a great job, dude.
And we'll talk about
But yeah.
that. But that we'll talk about that in a segment where because Critical Drinker just
In a
put
segment where we call "What the fuck was that?"
Critical Drinker just put out a video talking about The Boys, and neither of us have watched it. So we're gonna react to that in place of The Acolyte, and then we're gonna do a comic book review. We're gonna talk about Chew Volume 3, Just Desserts.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be interesting. Because
have
you
our
and I
Rambos.
have some feelings about it, but
I do have a what's in my mouth for next week that's Australian centered, so we can invite Mil Gebson onto the podcast.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah, we can invite him on to talk about these Australian cookies.
Right.
I just wanted to tease.
Speaking of
That's what's known in
Australian,
the biz as a tease.
speaking of Australian, before we get into the topic, which
Forces.
Thanks.
Australian for beer.
thanks, Mom, for
What?
indulging this part. Nobody listens to this. They're just here for the YouTube video. Let's be honest. They don't care about the pre-topic discussion.
They don't care about the Oh, fuck!
No, but
What is it?
I want to say 650, maybe
How much are we into it?
650
I totally fucking blew it.
into the episode.
Shit!
That was close, man. You almost made it 10 minutes. I was pretty impressed.
I could not help myself.
You could have got away with it. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I know.
Right? I'm
You know what?
I'm so used
That's
to
what kind of
but
integrity I have.
That's the
You got
problem.
integrity.
Tyler, that's the problem. I'm just so used to
You
it.
got integrity.
I got integrity. Anyway,
Okay.
what I was trying to fucking talk about.
Where are we? Okay.
Tyler, we're in my basement.
We're in my basement. See, now it's uncorked.
It's
Fuck.
you broke the seal. It's out.
I'm going to have to pee every 10 minutes.
Musical piss.
Musical.
That's your album.
I was going to call my next album Fuck Yes, but now it's going to be called Musical Piss. And you got an enlarged prostate. That's why you got to pee so much.
Oh.
Next week when I actually have my physical and I'm told. That's what irony is. Hey, you. Okay. So what are we talking about?
Who knows at this point? Let's talk about the boys.
The boys.
Because I was going to talk. You said the Australian thing, and I said I actually played with an Australian on Helldivers 2 this past week. It was funny because we were on this like red planet with like fire tornadoes and shit. It was called Hellmire. And I'm like, and we're playing on the highest difficulty, the Helldive difficulty, and I'm like, dude, what are we doing playing Helldive difficulty? And this Australian guy that we're playing with, he just goes, "Hey mate, Helldive is piss easy." He's like, it's like this is like me going outside my window every day, like looking out my window. I go out and see this every day. I was like, what? And it was funny because it's just like, okay.
Australians are a hardy people.
He did. He said swearing is their love language. And I'll tell you, the word fuck coming out of an Australian is like, it's like art. It's perfection. Because he did it a few times. He's like, fuck, a few times. I'm like, I love it. Anyway, let's talk about The Boys, Season 4, Episode 4. I don't remember the title of this, but...
Do you have a laptop right in front of you that you can look it up?
Oh, that we're recording into? That I'm looking at right now?
Or do you want me to do it?
Oh, I guess
on
I'll
my
just do
little
everything.
phone?
I'll plan the show. I'll
I'll
run
just
the
play
show.
on the show, and I'll just play on the show.
It's fine. I can find it.
I'm
Tyler.
sorry. I love you. Man.
Anyway, so this is an interesting episode because it kind of, when you're watching, it's something I've learned, and I think this is an issue that has happened. There's multiple issues, I think, with film criticism and YouTube critics over the years, and I think one of them is that when we watch things, we start to nitpick and things like that. And I don't think there's an issue pointing out a plot hole or noticing a plot hole. But what I've understood with stories and storytelling, as someone who is writes things or written things, and I understand as a writer at some point, you've got to move the story along and you've got to connect dots and you've got to get to a certain place. And every story has plot holes. Mm-hmm. And if you start to poke at them all the time, you're going to go insane. And this show is an example of plot holes I accept. Case in point, Firecracker becomes the fucking...
Did you almost go Sean Connery there? Case in point.
Fucking Firecracker becomes the devil in this episode, and it's like you could have killed her 2 episodes ago. And I understand for story reasons why she's still alive, but it kind of makes you, again, think how stupid
it's kind of cool that Sage kind of set it up for her to get her ass kicked. Like, there's your uppity. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. You're one of the good ones.
The great part about that, and we'll be more concise.
We're gonna jump around.
But what is this? House of Pain?
The House of Pain is in full effect. Everybody in the house, give you full respect. I own that fucking tape. Cassette tape.
Wow, Grandpa.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Remember when MTV had music?
Remember when MTV had VJs?
Remember getting heard?
That's code for video, Jackie.
Yeah, what a time.
Because radio people were...
Yeah, I fucking...
Wow. The show has gone off the rails. Let's go. Get some cheese.
Dude, what? You know how cool it would be if this show ever got big enough that we could have
I would love just
a live band, but it's Michael McDonald.
Everybody knows.
The problem is he's up there in age. We're working against the clock.
Yeah, fuck it.
So we gotta everybody share this show.
Wait. We could get somebody who could sing a lot like him, like that.
Give me Will Sasso or something. That guy can impersonate. Or
can we just have him on to pretend he's Lance Bass?
I want him to be the Randy Newman thing that he did for Family Guy. I want him to do that.
We're going out to the.
This will not. Okay. Anyway, so the boys. I love you, buddy. I love it. Who comes for the real analysis, really?
Are we back to the show yet? Anyway, so
are we recording?
So we're back to the boys.
They're back in town.
Back in town. Thin Lizzy, Irish guys. Do you know that?
Take a drink every time.
Every time Tyler goes off topic, take a drink. You'll be dead in 20 minutes. He tried the drinking game. He was dead by... Anyway. So, the boys... so, as you're talking about Firecracker, obviously...
Well, so the episode...
What the fuck? Porky Pig over here.
The boys. So...
And we're totally glossing over, by the way, all of the Homelander shit, but please go on. We'll get to that.
We'll cover that separately.
Yeah, we'll get
to there's 2 main things that are happening in this episode.
Yes.
One of them is that Firecracker is on their the VOT News, or their Fox News. So on VOT News, she's doing a 6-hour thing of Truth Bomb, her show, where she's going to expose...
Basically a female Alex Jones.
She's going to expose Starlight. And what's interesting about this episode, because Ashley was catching up to me, so I had watched a couple episodes ahead to catch up to do it for the show. So she was catching up, and I was caught a glimpse of episode 3, and Sage makes a comment where she was mad that she gets, I think it's episode 2, she gets brought into the public, but
with the costume.
Oh no, episode 3. She gets mad when he kills that woman in the IT department that had made calls to the Starlight Foundation.
Yeah.
And she goes, I thought we were doing a slower approach, a pebble down the mountain. And then in this episode, when Starlight shows up and beats up Firecracker, she says pebble down the mountain. I was like, it's just little shit like that. I'm like, oh, I love it. I love that we're we're moving in this momentum.
Can we, while we're on the subject of Sage, can we give a big shout out to Jake last week for letting me know, because I was like, what was that thing that they showed after her and the Deep got it on? And then I loved the whole dynamic where she was like, you despise me in a way I can't quantify. And I'm really good at quantifying, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
And then later on, like, he does it for her.
Oh, my God.
Now, you had it right, but I was saying I hoped that it was some sort of tragic backstory where she had to do it every so often or else she was going to die.
We were along the same lines because,
But I did not expect through the eye.
Because I thought something was, my explanation was it was to slow down her thoughts, but hers is just that her brain keeps growing, so it's not quite the same thing. But it's just,
we were on the right track.
I picked up on the lobotomizing thing because you and I think we even talked after the show, but I was like, no, because she was acting dumb. She was being different. She wasn't talking like she normally was.
You have a hot take, and we won't get to it right now, but I want to say you have a hot take about this episode, and I am fully on board with it. But we'll get there.
I am fully aware that I could be completely wrong.
No, I know, but I thought about it after you texted it to me, and I'm fully on board. But let's.
So the firecracker stuff, we get Butcher brought back on the team, and
Butcher blackmails her to see.
He gets the info that she is a pedophile. She had sex with a 15-year-old boy,
and she said,
which by the way,
find out.
He goes, if you don't help us and give us what we want, we're gonna hit tweet. And she goes, why don't I do it myself? Fuck around, find out, and leaves. And a lot of people were saying this about this episode where it was like, it's kind of scary of how effective and realistic this response to this was. Mm-hmm. Because, for one, again, to lay it out there and look, this show is so funny and effective when it's telling the truth. Comedy is the funniest when it's true.
Yeah.
And this is a fact. I'm not saying every single person that gets caught up in this save the children QAnon shit look, there's some good. I think there are good people that got caught up in that, and because people are just bored and they go down these internet rabbit holes.
Right.
But I think a lot of the times when these really hardcore ones that are out there, these QAnon level people that do all this shit and do all this Pizzagate shit and all this, then you find out they're projecting that they're fucking pedophiles.
Yeah.
More often than not.
Yeah.
And this show is an example of it, and then she spins it. And you could see someone like her doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah. How many times are you like, oh, hey, this guy got arrested for doing this to a kid. Oh, and they were like a youth pastor.
Tyler.
No shit.
Huh.
They were the an accountant.
Mike Tyson is a convicted rapist, and people are okay with him.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean?
The reason why there's no such thing as cancel culture is because fucking these right-wingers have shows, and they've said more than reprehensible shit. I'm just saying,
and
there's no cancel culture.
People have capacity to change, but I'm just saying that, it's the whole thing of, like, people will forget about shit, and
We've talked about this many times, my whole thing with the Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page thing, and you had another... you had an artist or whatever that you liked that did some weird shit that you're like, I don't hear that.
Yeah, well... I think I remember what you're talking about, but like, how many fucking rock stars have songs about fucking 17-year-olds and shit?
A lot. It's kind of creepy. Actually.
Yeah, the 80s is really ripe with like blatant statutory rape.
Yeah,
they're like, hey,
what the fuck? Well, see, I was like 10,
and that's what's so crazy about this show. So what should have been a big bombshell reveal that she did this? No, she spins it because she has information on the fact that Starlight had an abortion. Well, even before that, she was talking about because that comes later. That happens later. Yeah. She says something in this moment where she spins it back on Starlight and some other bullshit, and it's like you could see Trump doing that. And he's done shit like that when he's been accused of sexual assault and things like that.
Yeah, I mean...
And like...
Anybody who's like that sure of themselves and what they're saying...
Fucking Matt Gaetz!
No fucking way am I trusting that person.
People like Matt Gaetz...
Or believing a fucking word that they say. What?
People like Matt Gaetz, who is still under investigation for trafficking a 17-year-old. You know what I mean? Like...
Oh, dude, I was on Twitter today. The dude, that fucking Andrew Tate or whatever.
Oh, did you see my retweet? It was it was his brother.
How the okay. But how the
Well,
fuck?
we won't get into the lore of that.
No, but
that guy has
people paying for that in this world. There's people with a lot of money that are like, yeah, I would love to see what a fucking convicted sex trafficker, fucking has to say.
He made some comments about women
and just loaded up with promotional deals.
They
have a ticker right underneath with all the fucking promotional. This.com.
Because you could do things like with Firecracker.
How?
Like it's the same thing with like Firecracker is doing, where she still finds an audience. Because you'll still find an audience. There's still people that don't care about that. And I think that in this situation, something like that would happen. Truthfully, it's a cult.
It is.
And this episode is showing you what happens when you just buy in.
Well, you control the information.
To this
if
shit.
you control the information, it's like the algorithm.
It doesn't
right
matter
now.
if it's true.
Oh yeah.
It's all that matters is if you can make someone believe it. That's it.
Dude, how else are you going to get a million Americans to believe that Antifa is fascist?
Yeah. So then,
I mean, literally, the fucking word is anti-fascist. Not.
So
Anywhere.
Butcher swipes the keys to the RV, the trailer at this event, and he tells Frenchie to go see what he can get for dirt, since she's the one who said fuck it and sent out this stuff. So he's going searching for that. While that happens, also the preacher from season 1,
Ezekiel,
he's back, and he's talking about her. If you look at how many letters are in Starlight, and he makes it say 666 and all that. He shows up and he plays a role because he's doing part of this thing. And then we forgot to talk about Firecracker and the Deep singing karaoke together. Just magnificent. Oh, because they play it over the credits too, which is what I fucking love about this show. It's just how well it takes something as serious as that final shot, and then you have that karaoke version playing.
Yeah. No, but then so Frenchie gets caught by Ezekiel.
Butcher shows up to
save him, and he's he fucking clocks his fucking arm off, which is awesome.
He shoots him with a fire extinguisher and breaks his arm
That's
off.
awesome. That's awesome. Because fuck that guy.
He's got the arms tied around him, and he's choking him to death. And
all he has to do is squeeze.
Butcher is seeing Becca. And when he sees Becca, she keeps telling him to get up and get up.
The little fucking snake
and
thing.
the little worm thing.
Whatever the fuck that is.
And then it just cuts to black.
And there's a scream and splat.
Explosion.
Yeah. Splatty splat.
And
he wakes up.
Butcher doesn't know what happens. There's just blood and guts everywhere. Frenchie's alive. He got thrown outside of the camper.
I want to drop the hot take right now because this is a perfect example of why I think you're right about your hot take.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So because
you mentioned Becca.
They've set it up that he's taken so much Temp V that now Butcher's dying and he's having hallucinations. First of all, I don't think Kessler's real either.
Who's Kessler?
Kessler is Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
So here's how I interpret it. Even though he brought the drugs, I don't think he really brought the drugs. I think Butcher already had the drugs to give to Ryan.
Okay,
I think it's fucking Fight Club where Becca is the good side of his conscience. Kessler is the bad side because Kessler says we need guys like you, Butcher. I'm giving you the drugs to drug this kid because we need to amp this up because everything's going to go to shit.
So,
the apocalypse. While Becca is like, don't fuck over Huey. Do the right thing. So
now, from the get-go of this season, it is implied and pretty much thrown in your face that Becca is not real. Okay, it's very, very, very clear to the audience. Becca is a hallucination created by Butcher and has taken the compound V,
the Temp V, fucking with his
whatever.
head.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. It's made clear that he's hallucinating her. Right. Now you told me something. You texted me something, and this blew my mind because when I started thinking about it, I realized you. But go ahead and tell your hot take, which is
we get introduced.
Who else isn't real?
We get introduced to Huey's mom in the first 3 episodes, right?
Because his dad has a stroke.
I noticed every time he interacts, there is one other time where there's another person in the room interacting with her.
Yeah, it's rare though. It's usually him and her.
But it's the doctor, and that's the doctor telling him the news, and he says that's bullshit. And if I remember correctly, the doctor doesn't respond, so the doctor could only be talking to him. and not responding to his mom. So I think that Huey is hallucinating his mom.
Yes.
And now you could say, wait a minute, Butcher took more Temp V than Huey. Sure, but we didn't know Huey's condition. Yes, Huey stopped before Butcher, and Butcher knew he was going to die, and this was going to kill him or whatever. But I still think it's possible that he still took enough to have a hallucination of his mom, because his mom is his hallucination of his own guilt, because he wasn't there for his dad when he needed him to, and his dad had the stroke. And so this whole time he has been dealing, and because she has been the one telling him the truth, being like, yes, I left all these things, but she has always been telling him, like, it's a matter of time, we have to let him die, and Huey can't let his dad die.
Here's where I explain a plot hole that I just came up with, which is, how does he get how does she give the living will? Well, okay, his dad already had a living will.
Oh shit, I guess that.
No, you're right though, because it's very easily explained. He had a living will, and even though Huey is there, I think, hear me out. His dad puts a living will with his ex-wife as the only person who can overturn it, knowing that she's gone. So if he goes, Huey can't, right? Kind of an insurance policy, right? So
yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying that's why they removed the feeding tube, and Huey couldn't do anything about it.
But here's the thing.
And that's why, because I was going to say, why would he take the feeding tube out and then put Compound V in there?
Here. This is my other thing.
Right?
How would she know to swipe the Compound V from his jacket, take the Compound V, know what it is,
right,
and give it to him?
Right.
She does it because it's his hallucination of guilt.
The reason
Just like Becca is the best thing about Butcher, the mom is the worst thing about Huey. Because if you think about it, again, in the same fucking episode, and maybe I'm looking too much into it, but in the same episode, Huey puts all of his blame for everything, including what's happening to his dad, on A-Train.
Oh, yeah.
Not his mom, A-Train. Because again, he cannot accept his own guilt. He keeps passing it on, and he blames A-Train just like he blames his mom.
But he does forgive A-Train. Now, check this out. The reason why I was saying...
I could be wrong on that, too. But that's just...
The reason why I was saying...
I'm just saying that the theme of it seems consistent.
I want to explain why I was talking about plot hole, because you would say, well, what does it make sense that if his mom is a hallucination, then that means Huey would have had his feeding tube taken out? Not so. Again, the living will is there that his dad had in place to make sure that Huey can't do shit about it. Right? Because he doesn't want to... Right? And that's why Huey has to get the Compound
But that's what
V.
I'm saying. And
he had no
Huey,
choice in the feeding tube.
And Huey made that choice because of his own not being able to accept his guilt, and because he...
Is his mom in the room when he comes back?
And
he sees the blue shit?
I don't know if she... But again, how would she know what it is?
I'm just saying, right.
Compound V is public, but that doesn't mean people know what it looks like.
Obviously, no. I'm saying, like, it doesn't matter because she's a hallucination. But I wanted to see. I wanted to see if that makes a difference. It doesn't make a difference if she's there or not.
That's my.
But somebody put. Who else could have done it?
I'm just saying it
doesn't make sense that she would.
That's my Cheetos flaming hot theory right there, baby.
Cheetos. Flaming hot theory coming in hot town.
A couple things before, because I want to dedicate as much time as possible to the Homelander stuff. So we also get more of Sage and her storyline of setting all this up with the firecracker stuff, and then having the interesting relationship with the Deep, where she can only connect with them.
Move Flavor Town, my pussy.
But this is what's funny about.
That's great.
What's funny about their relationship is the fact that it's built on the fact that she has to lobotomize herself to enjoy him, because he's so fucking dumb. She has to.
If you're a shallow enough person, then a guy like the Deep, all you care about is what they look like. Yeah. And the Deep is hot. Physically, I guess.
I mean, she is also human. She's also human. Like, she has her own needs physically. So
I mean, everybody got to scrape out their brains every once in a while. Okay.
Everybody got to scrape out their brains and get laid. It just happens.
It just happens.
So yeah, we get the backstory that the reason she is the smartest person in the world is because her brain never stops growing. It's always keeps growing and growing and regenerating. Like, she has done this before. So she was lobotomized in the last episode.
Yep.
So she's done
We
this
don't
a
know
lot
how
because
often she has to do it.
But she's done this a lot because she found out that, yeah, like, you know, and again, the explanation is kind of along the lines of what I was thinking it was going to be of, like, I just want to not have my brain be like this for a couple of hours of, and she kind of just says, like, a couple hours of peace, or a couple hours of silence of just, I want to be able to, be dumb for two. And you know what? That's a human thing. Everybody likes to have dumb, silly fun and fuck and have, you know, like, it's a human thing.
I live that life every day.
Everybody has a fling.
I live that life every day.
Everybody has, you know, the one person you hook up with that's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And
I had a.
and by that
back
I mean,
in Iowa City. Yeah.
when I hook up with, I mean myself.
That's me with the spit in my hand.
Speaking of spit in hand,
yeah,
let's talk about
the Homelander stuff.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't making a joke. I was doing
making
a
a
segue.
transition. And how this is the beauty of this show. How rarely can you use that as a transition in the show? Not many shows you can do that. So
The funny thing about that, ironically, is you can use that segue a lot for this show,
so this other,
but no other show.
so this other of like plot line that's happening is
Homelander goes back to the start.
Goes back to where they did tests on him as a kid.
And I love when they give him a chance to do like 4 different Homelanders at once. It's fucking brilliant. I know it was just from last episode, but I love those moments.
And listen, I've said time and time,
big dick energy.
what I said time and time again, I think that, you know, at the end of the day, I don't really care about if a show or an actor wins an Oscar or wins an Emmy, or if a movie wins but my God, this performance, like, I was, you know, talking with friends about it, and it's truly one of those things where, like, I was texted, like, hey, what were your thoughts, you know? And my first thing were, like, I really enjoyed it. The Homelander scenes were incredible because it so perfectly encapsulate what makes an amazing villain.
Mm-hmm.
Is in this episode, you level with him.
Mm-hmm.
In this episode, you understand why he is the way he is. But by the end of this episode, you're like, he's still
a piece of shit.
Unbelievable, evil fucking piece of shit. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, he still believes he is better than the human race. At the end of the day, he still says, I'm not human. I'm better than you.
The fucking fucked up thing.
It's fucking gnarly, man.
It was a great opportunity to learn about what kinds of shit he did go through, especially in that frustrating kind of detail. Like just, okay, you can stop. You can tone it down, whatever. But I think my favorite thing was when she's finally Barb, I think was it Barb? Yeah. Barbara, whatever.
Yeah.
They're in the scary room, whatever. Like the second to last time we see both of them in the episode. And she's talking about why they were scared of him. And how when he was born, he like lasered out of his mother's, And
yeah.
I mean, that's scary shit. But then, I mean,
so
you see the oven that they put him in. You see, like it's fucking oh man.
So, well, here's
the squirt shit. Jesus.
Well, here's what's crazy about his birth too, if you think about it. So it's Soldier Boy, and I think it was one of Maeve's embryos.
I have no idea.
That created him, because he's still like Ryan is still the only like natural born superhero.
Yeah. Yep.
So he was still like created by 2 other supes, but. Yeah, and that woman she was just a carrier that he just lasered out of.
Yeah.
And like, and so they were scared. It's like, still, you threw a kid in a fucking oven. You harassed this kid. Like and it always goes back, and it's again what makes it so good of a storytelling is like it's something that you see a lot in like true crime stories of people that are murderers, or it's a lot of it is they didn't have a good home life, they didn't have a good upbringing, and so you see how Homelander becomes who he is because of being fucking tortured every day.
Yeah,
it being a lab experiment like that. So
she makes the point that
the basketball scene, the basketball scene just kind of set this up to kind of go, because we keep cutting back and forth, and as it keeps cutting, it gets more and more unhinged, and And again, you were talking about, you see Anthony Starr play him in so many different ways, where it's so good because of the whole. It's like, again, you start to level with him because he plays that boyish charm of that Superman Clark Kent kind of oh, you don't remember, I brought cake, and it's a little reunion. And even then, they're like, what's going on? Because they know...
Well, he's not supposed to be there.
He's not supposed to be there. And they know what they did to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he shows up and he's like, oh, I brought the fudge whale, and eat it before it melts. Even then, people are kind of uneasy. But when we get to that...
I still want a cargo cake
what's so good about that scene of the wastebasket with the paper basketball... Again, you level with him. Because he tells you that. He's like, you don't remember? You hit it. And you did a fist bump. And then you burned me alive. To see if my skin could take it. And while I didn't burn, it still hurt.
Like a lot.
A lot. Just how quick he turns on a dime, dude. It's just so impressive. And I know you're like, we're hyping this guy up for so long. But seriously, man. This episode, especially, just... You see the spectrum of this character arc, and you're horrified because now he does not care. He is gone. And he really takes that whole toys from his amusement to that, and we see it. We already kind of saw, he's like, oh yeah, beat these guys to death. But now you're seeing him just fucking toy with these people. And... inevitably burn that guy to death. He's going to burn that guy to death, but he takes his time. He's like a cat with a mouse.
Same thing with the dude making him...
Because he makes him shoot hoops to not die, and he goes, and you would have won. He intentionally misses because he goes, you would have won.
Well, it doesn't matter because he's a pile of
But he's already dead. He's already burnt to ash.
At that point, he's a pile of charcoal in the fucking...
And he goes, you would have won. Fuck, man. And then we get that other cut where he talks about the squirt where the guy walked in on him masturbating and called him squirt and made fun of him. So then he makes this guy masturbate in front of his fucking coworkers and humiliate him, and he can't get hard because obviously how are you going to get hard in that situation? We have a madman laughing at you while you're trying to jerk off in front of your coworkers.
You know what doesn't help? Get hard or I'll laser it off. Hey, guess what?
If you want to keep your... Yeah,
just go ahead and laser it off.
If you want to keep your dick, you need to get hard, pretty much. What the fuck?
That's never worked.
Oh, and by the way, he's going to laser off your dick and you're going to bleed to death because of the veins.
Look at all the dick blood on my boots. Didn't he say that at one point?
I think he says something like that,
yeah.
Oh, he goes, oh, man, I'm in your dick blood or something like that. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So then Barb shows up and just says, put him out of his misery. And even this.
He crushes his skull.
He could have lasered him. But he intentionally lifts his foot, and he could have squashed him like that. Lifts his foot,
slowly
crunches it so everybody can see it and hear it. And it's just, again, just fucking toying with these people. And look, they're bad people. They're not good people, even in this context. But they don't deserve this. Nobody deserves to be toyed and tortured with. Nobody deserves that. No. And it's just like, fuck. And then, they have that final conversation, which he's like, yeah, we were afraid of you. But, the fact that he's like, I was just doing my job, and he gets that flashback, and I'm like, that's like telling a fucking Holocaust survivor I was just doing my job. What the fuck, man? That's not going to cut it. You put this kid in a fucking oven. You can't just say, well, I was just following orders. You didn't think, hey, maybe I shouldn't burn this kid alive, because what if it does kill him? We don't know if it will or won't.
To be honest, I think for a time, I'll bet you they were trying to kill him.
Well, yeah, probably.
Just to get rid of him because they had
get too strong,
right?
Yeah.
But then at some point they realized what they had, and they had already built all this psychological bullshit into it. because she tells him, she's like, we did that on purpose
they got
so
the
you
best-
wouldn't kill us.
They got the best doctors to
Yeah.
make him need to be loved so he wouldn't kill them. Yeah. So he wouldn't realize, wait a minute, I have all these powers.
I think at some point they shifted from actually trying to kill him to being like, okay, now we
but
gotta
he wanted,
now
yeah.
we gotta utilize
So
him.
they made him this narcissistic, fame hungry. Yeah.
It's almost like
And that
the
can-
alt-right politicians jumping in bed with QAnon and now not being able to control it, and the people that
Yeah.
is spawned. That's weird, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like that.
It's like when you let someone
Fucking
keep
weird.
living lies and
Yeah.
delusions
And when you push them towards that, actually,
and
when
let
you
them
actively
believe.
tell them that what they see is
Yeah.
false, when you finally try to tell them the truth, they're not going to believe you because everything they see is false now.
Yeah.
Way to go!
Yeah. Another good episode though. Really enjoyed it.
Great
Oh, and the ending. Oh my god, dude. The final shots of it, where it's the ding of the elevator into the notes of the music, and then they're like standing there. The room is covered in blood. Barbara's just freaking out, scared because
Well, that's what
all the
that's
blood and
his
gore.
final torture for her.
look
He
at what
locks her in there
look at
with all the dead people.
and you're gonna slowly die in here with them. And like that's so fucking maniacal. And then to see him covered in blood, like that
detritus.
shot of from his back, and it's just his cape in the back, just chunks of blood and gore,
Oh.
and then him covered in it, and then in the elevator, and the notes are hitting, and the elevator's going, just a little smile, a little like. And then that moment, he's freed himself because he kept saying, you got to go back to where it started. So his own subconscious was like, the only way that you're going to make this change and fully believe you're superior to them is by killing these people. This is going back to the start, killing the people that made you,
Mm-hmm.
and then just completely not caring anymore.
Before we go on to the next thing, because I think we're pretty wrapped up with the boys.
Dinker.
Critical trigger.
Dinker.
Dinker. Is that really what it is?
No, it's Drinker, but I hate him. So
Let's not forget that A-Train actually goes into Homelander's apartment to try and get some Compound V, and
That's true.
and is stopped by Ashley, who is also there, and we don't know how that's resolved. I thought they were just gonna start fucking.
No, they resolved it because it was like, looks like we both have a problem. So they both were in agreement. They weren't going to say shit.
Oh, okay.
But
I hope Ashley turns out to be like one of the fucking heroes.
I have my theories.
somehow.
I have my theories. A-Train gives the V to Huey. He acts like he's not going to forgive A-Train. He does forgive him. Butcher's like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, it wasn't for him. Like, it was Huey letting that go. And then him and Butcher have a conversation because Butcher's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I've got to use this Compound V. It's the only choice I have. What other choice do I have? And Butcher goes, any other fucking choice, you twat. Because that's like, again, Butcher coming to terms of like, no, I pushed Huey in the wrong direction. Like he is more prone to make these kind of brash decisions, and it's like he can't live with his mistakes. He can't live with his failures. And
I can't live without you.
he's like, well, I still would have some for you. And Butcher's like, I've already tried. I stole some from Frenchie, and didn't he say accelerated the process or something like that?
Yeah, whatever.
Prolong the inevitable. I think
Prolong it.
But anyway, Huey shows up at the hospital with the Compound V. Almost does it. Doesn't. Puts it back in. He kind of has a moment where he cries because he accepts his father's death for the first time. Leaves, comes back, and then his mom is standing over his dad as the Compound V is pumping into him, and his heart pumping up, and like him coming back alive is intercut with the dings of the elevator as Homelander leaves. And there we go.
What if it's Huey's dad who takes apart Homelander?
But again, I still think Huey gave his dad the Compound V because
I believe you're right.
his guilt
Let's
couldn't
move
let
on.
him deal with it.
Tired of talking about that goddamn episode.
Everybody knows when you talk too much.
You talk too much, and you talk too much, and you talk too much for me.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, so The Boys, as we said, has not been as subtle as it seems to have been in the past, although it was pretty on the nose in all 4 seasons, let's be honest.
Yep.
But anyway, the right wingers are finding they're finding their grift in the sense of like, hey, wait a minute, now it sucks, guys. Now it's woke, even though it's been kind of pretty woke
Duh.
the whole time. But so Critical Drinker, as we're recording on Sunday, released this on YouTube. I figure let's do something a little bit different in the Grift Report.
Okay.
Let's kind of react to this 8-minute video. I also sped it up because I can't fucking stand this guy, so I sped it up to 1.5.
That's why we're gonna listen to him for 6 whole minutes or 5 or so.
Yeah,
it'll be sped up.
Yeah, I'm honestly it is more bearable sped up because in my head I know it's over faster. All right, so
let's
here
do
we go. Critical fuckface. Sorry, Drinker. Critical
Credit card dunker.
Critical dickhead.
Credit card dunker.
Got it.
Cool.
One of the questions that comes up pretty regularly on Open Bar these days is, Drinker, you tough-talking, charismatic gunslinger with a dark past, when are you going to review The Boys Season 4?
Should I speed it up
The
more?
Boys.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
You know, I used to be a real fan of that show, to the point where I actually gave the first season a Drinker Recommends Awards. And truly, what higher accolade can one bestow upon a work of art these days? Anyway, at a time...
Okay, so he liked the first season. Yeah. You notice they all say shit like that? Like,
I liked it at first.
yeah, and then it got woke. AKA, I gotta make money off this.
When the superhero genre was already becoming kind of stale and played out, The Boys came along to completely tear up the rulebook.
Okay.
Funny, violent, irreverent, and wickedly subversive, with a complex and well-written cast of heroes and villains, plus a whole lot of other characters in between, and a story that brutally skewered everything from fake
But
corporate
where does it
activism
fall
to
off?
our obsession with celebrity culture, media manipulation, and cultural warfare. It was really
Of which
everything
you
could
are a
ever in
part,
like
you
this.
fucking
I kinda checked
fuck.
out after season 3
Holy
because I was
fucking
turned down
shit.
superhero
Pause,
stories.
please. This dumb motherfucker is talking about how it's subversive and takes swipes at the very fucking empire that you helped create that is built on your bullshit.
I love it.
You fucking...
I know.
You
I know.
You fucking personality. You're a fucking t-shirt. You're a fucking movie of the week, to quote Brad Pitt. God, these fucking people. This is what we have to deal with now. For us to have any sort of shot at getting our actual art to anybody, we have to be fucking shitheads and talk about shitheads like this
Right.
so that we can get any sort of attention. Fuck you, dude. Thank you. Thank you.
Again, I love it. I love
Being
it
really
when
loud.
guys.
Sorry, everybody.
I love it when guys like him like talk about the culture war shit. It's just like
That he created.
your
That he
whole
makes money
empire,
off of?
your whole
Yeah.
fucking empire.
Piece of shit. God.
General, even shows that subverted the genre, and partly because I could see the way The Boys was heading as a creative property.
Oh, okay.
The complex, nuanced, and multifaceted characters were slowly morphing into simplified parodies of themselves. The central storyline was becoming trite and predictable, and the bitingly witty satire was becoming more overt and partisan with every season, parroting the same predictable talking points.
Partisan.
Uh-huh.
Again, the show is just being a little bit more in your face about you're the villain, dumbass. You guys will always be the fucking villains because whether you like it or not, you speak the language of an oppressor.
Yeah. Firecracker in episode 4 is exactly this shithead. That kind of shithead that just live streams everything when
And
they're
they
taking
know
a shit
how many
or
times
going
have I
to get a muffin.
How many times have I said it? They know that they can never get anybody with real... Why am I looking at the TV like there's a camera?
Because there's an audience.
In my mind.
Look at all those ants.
They're out there in my head.
They're out
Ants? Yeah, the
They're
bugs.
out there in my head. Okay.
Get out my basement.
Get out of here. You darn idiots.
It's just...
Varmints.
This is the thing about conservatives in general, conservative media, conservative anything. It's the same shit. They can't understand. They know that they cannot do anything creative enough to get someone's attention, so they have to make some bullshit narrative, bullshit controversy to get some sort of outrage going, and it's the same shit. And it's always, oh my God, a straight white man isn't the lead. We're pissed. It's woke. It's feminist.
As every other Hollywood product. Basically, The Boys just wasn't cool or interesting anymore. It wasn't fighting the
Oh
power,
my
it wasn't
gosh, the critical fucking drinker is the king of what's cool, everybody.
Oh, man, I didn't know that.
It just wasn't cool anymore.
It wasn't cool anymore.
AKA, I couldn't grift off it because it's actually fucking good and people like it and it makes fun of me and my audience because I've cultured a bunch of fucking Nazis.
Do you think we're going to get canceled because we made fun of his accent?
Oh.
His outrageous accent!
Tyler, we took it too far. We can't
Sorry.
say that they're outright
I'm
people
sorry,
or their
yeah,
fans are
yeah,
Nazis.
Yeah, even though they are. And even though they purport to champion the things that Nazis champion.
I'm not
You
saying...
know.
very clear. I'm not saying Critical Drinker's a Nazi. I'm not saying Neurotic's a Nazi. I'm not saying they are Nazis.
They are.
But I'm saying, but thanks, Tyler. But he said that. But legally, he said that. I will throw you under the bus.
Fuck yeah.
Because they're rich, they can afford lawyers. But what I'm saying is,
shit about our 300 subscribers.
I'm just saying you tend to get a certain type. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, a little bit.
It wasn't raging against the machine, it was part of it. What was once rebellious, subversive, and irreverent had become just another mouthpiece for the safe, corporatized, hollow, and performative activism that it once so brutally mocked. So I wasn't exactly brimming with excitement at the prospect
pitched it up to
of sacrificing
1.75. Is that too bad?
Season. Frankly, I've got better things to do with my time. But hey, maybe they managed to turn things around. I mean, Stranger Things was drinking at the Last Chance Saloon for me after a disastrously bad Season 3, only for the showrunners to listen to fan complaints and come back with an absolute banger of Season 4. Maybe we'd actually get something similar here. So it was off to Rotten Tomatoes for me to check out the reviews. Not the critic reviews.
And also help review bomb it.
Gives a shit what those fucking shills have got to say about anything anymore. I'm talking about...
Did he just call Rotten Tomatoes shills?
Yeah, okay.
You fucking douchebag.
So, hey, make up your fucking mind, assholes.
Yeah,
because when you want to make fun of the Acolyte, you use the audience score as if it matters. And then... You call Rotten Tomatoes shills because it has positive scores, but then look at the audience score. That's the real score.
That's the real
but
score.
Also, fuck Rotten Tomatoes. So what are we using, fuckers?
Yeah. Well, they just move the goalpost wherever it suits them. They don't have actual,
By the way,
thoughts.
Season 1 of The Boys.
They have sold their soul to the devil.
Tyler,
that is money.
Season 1 of The Boys didn't have, it was both sides the whole way, man. Both sides, despite the whole villain of the show this whole time being a caricature of Donald Trump. But whatever. It all changed with Season 2, and it wasn't cool anymore.
It wasn't cool. It mocked the thing that it tried to mock. Mocked
reviews,
it.
Which is the only semi-reliable barometer for quality these days, and
it's 51%.
I mean, the audience scores have been gradually declining from an all-time high of 90% in Season 1 to 75% by Season 3, but that's kind of in line with most shows, to be fair.
By the way, let's... time out.
Okay.
Metric here. Season 2 onward. Well, I don't know if it continued... I don't want to say onward, but Season 2 got review bombed because Amazon released all the episodes for Season 1, but Season 2, that's when they started doing the 3 episodes and the weekly release, and they fucking review bombed it because of that.
Right, and for those of you who don't know, the critical score of every subsequent season of The Boys has risen from, I believe, actually, no. Last season was 95%. This season is 98%.
Also,
critical scores.
Also, you know what else happened in Season 2?
What else?
You know what else happened?
Huh.
The villains were saying the shit that their fans were saying, and then came out to be a fucking Nazi.
Whoop.
They seemed to be real quiet about that.
Yeah, weird.
Because that same season, the character that believed what Stormfront said shot someone.
Yep.
Because that can again, I'm going to be very clear for the lawyers. I want to be very clear. I'm not saying that watching Critical Drinker or Nerdrotic will make you shoot someone.
Oh, no.
I'm not saying that. I want to make that very clear.
If you're trying to be entertained, there's lots of better
I'm
options
saying
out
that
there.
This is what can
and
happen.
if you're following him because you believe that shit, then you're an idiot. So whatever. And you're probably not listening to me right now anyway.
I'm just saying that that happens when you go down certain rabbit holes on the internet.
But there's no denying that Season 4 absolutely fell off a cliff. Good lord, I don't think I've seen a fan base turn so hard on any show since Game of Thrones. Look through the reviews and you'll see page after page of absolutely brutal write-ups, all saying basically the same thing. The general consensus is that the show seems to have sacrificed writing quality and smart characterization in favour of simplistic shock value and cheap political point scoring. In short, the writers have become more interested in getting their own personal ideology across and owning the chuds, rather than actually telling a good story.
They've been doing that for 3 seasons!
You also like to use phrases like owning the libs. I can't like take you seriously because you are a chud when you use owning the chuds. Also, I just have to say, who the fuck cares what a bunch of jackasses on the online are saying about a show that I like? Why are you spending time paying attention to when I'm in the mood for a good laugh, I go and check out one of our YouTube shorts that has where we're owning the chuds, as you say, you dumb fuck. I like to look at those because you guys just can't help yourselves, and you just have to fucking comment like it's like flies. It's like moths to a flame, right? And you just come and you're just like, and it's bad spelling and bad grammar, and you're just all chuds. And if I want a good laugh, I just go and read some of them because I'm like, wow, you guys are actual people. But go ahead and please talk more about owning the chuds, you fucking dipshit.
My favorite is when like
God.
they try to call us gay or
Or
like,
soy boys.
or like betas or soy boys.
I like
something.
soy.
I do.
I hope somebody takes that
Soy's-
as a fucking...
Soy is delicious.
Soy is delicious.
I love me some
soy.
Soy boys. That's a drop.
Well, that sort of strategy never really pays off. Naturally, I was curious to get the other side of the story, so I took a look at a recent interview with showrunner Eric Kripke in The Hollywood Reporter.
Uh-oh,
And
here
he
we
had
go.
this
I
to
knew
say
he was
about
gonna talk
accusations
about
that
it.
The show had become too partisan. I clearly have a perspective, and I'm not shy about putting that perspective in the show. Anyone who wants to call the show woke or whatever, that's okay. Go watch something else. But I'm certainly not going to pull any punches or apologise for what we're doing. Some people who watch it think Homelander is the hero. What do you say to that? The show's many things. Subtle isn't one of them. So if that's the message you're getting from it, I just throw up my hands. You know, why do I feel like this is rapidly becoming a tale as old as time? A show gets
A tale as old
He
as
doesn't answer that at all. He doesn't answer whether he thinks Homelander is the hero or not. Like, he doesn't answer any of what Kripke said. He just goes into some stupid ass
Well, like, here
fucking
we go
allegory
again.
or analogy that proves his point, even though it makes no point. He doesn't even answer.
'Cause
So
it-
do you think Homelander's the fucking hero, dude? Critical drinker? Answer me, you fuck. Sorry. Answer me.
It's a tale as old as time.
What is the tale?
The tale as old as time being
Dumb
like
fucks with
the
a YouTube
conservative-
channel?
The tale as old as time is being the conservative, being the fucking dumb one.
A tale as old as time. Having a YouTube channel.
popular and goes mainstream, the writers get a little too overconfident and think they can use it as a platform for their own personal hang-ups. The fans start to push back against them, and instead of taking that criticism
God damn it! How dare any fucking writer put any fucking political ideology, anything
Yeah,
like...
how dare
like,
you put any of yourself into your art?
It's like, you know what fucking pisses me off?
Why
Like,
aren't you an
it's-
AI bot?
It's what pisses me off is when people think a movie like fucking Star Wars is political, dude, even though it has wars in the name of it. By nature, war is always fucking political.
And they're fighting an empire, you dipshit.
I slapped the table too hard for that bit.
Yeah, you did.
them on board
You heard?
and responding in a constructive
bit.
manner. They just say, fuck it, go watch something else, you dicks. Kind of reminds me of this idiot.
Exactly.
So why are you talking about it?
Go
Why are
wa-
you talking about
Do what
it?
he said.
Yeah. So what does he say? What is his response to go watch something else?
Well, I want to before I
Also,
even,
yes, it is implied that you are a dick.
before
you
I
dick.
before I get onto that.
'Kay.
Two things. One, you're lying. Clearly you don't. You criticize.
Get real fired up here.
You know, because you criticize people about, well, you're for free speech unless
the
it's against
fuck-
your political view.
Right.
And then you do this shit where he says, if you don't want to watch this show,
Go
don't
watch
watch it.
something
I'm
else.
sorry if you feel that
Yeah.
way. Go watch something else.
Yeah.
Nobody is fucking being like, critical drinker, for the love of God. They're going to bomb this fucking country unless you watch The Boys Season 4. It's
And
not
like it.
Get off your fucking self-righteous horse.
Oh, boy.
Character or not, sit down, you little bitch, because you mean nothing. Your 1 million subscribers are a bunch of lonely fucking losers, and I don't care about their opinion.
And you know that if you get upset over what Kripke said, because it's clickbait, I've seen that story about 17 times in the last week. You know that your stupid chud fucking subscribers will click on
All
your
right,
shit.
let's get through it. We're almost done.
Did her level best to tank the American comic book industry, and then had the balls to berate her own customers for not loving what she was doing.
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
Yeah.
Who was that?
You girls enjoy yourself.
I think it was
It's the
Gail.
entertainment equivalent of
Oh,
that
Gail
asshole kid who
Simone.
takes his
Yeah.
ball and flounces off home because everyone else won't play the game the way he wants them to. It's this weird narcissistic sense of entitlement amongst creatives these days that everyone should just
Again, from you is real fucking rich, you piece of shit.
Yeah, have you ever
support and agree with
created
you because
anything?
You're such a paragon of wisdom that there's no possibility you could ever. be
Yeah,
wrong
he's
about
created
anything.
shitty
The problem-
fucking thriller novels. Like, that's what he's made. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't call him shitty. I haven't read him, but based on if your writing is anything like your fucking criticism, that book is dog shit.
I can't imagine what you think is good.
Eric, is that other people don't always think exactly the same way we do. They don't always share our beliefs, parrot our opinions, mirror.
Yet you're making a whole fucking crybaby video about it because you want to make money, you piece of shit.
All right, roll it right there.
our viewpoints on every
Oh,
topic, and that's okay because people are allowed to have different points of view. A smart, humble, and creative writer
Really?
Why do you...
finds ways to bridge the gap between all these different groups through the unifying concept of good storytelling. A bad writer, on the other hand, tries to hammer home his opinions on his audience with sheer brute force, and then gets angry and resentful when they push back against it. I'll let you decide which one you use.
Oh, you mean like Eric July and the fucking Rippaverse?
What?
When people talk about how shitty his comic books.
Hey, I'm going to put out fucking trading cards based on an outline I
But
did when I was
no.
12.
But no. No.
I'm not sure what his powers are yet.
Let's-
or why he wears that darn helmet.
Let's attack a guy who said, hey, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it.
yeah.
To be and which one you are now. Also, it's interesting watching the discourse around the boys on social media, which I can best summarize as the boys used to be smart and fun, now it's all about pushing politics and nothing else.
Actually, the one thing I've seen on social media more than anything is what happened to Laz Alonso's beard. That has nothing to fucking do with any at all because the show is still good.
Hey, William.
Yeah,
William.
yeah.
That's Criddle Drinker's name. William. The main, like one of the main. Let's not even say like we'll just, even though he is the antagonist, let's just pretend. Okay. No, fuck it. We'll make it this point too because it's really important. The main antagonist of the show from season 1 wore an American flag as his cape. I don't know what to tell you if you don't think that a guy who's modeled as which by the way, a blonde, blue-eyed,
Yeah.
perfect American wearing his flag.
that big gold eagle on his one shoulder is very reminiscent of
Drinker.
very Third Reich
Drinker.
reminiscent.
Drinker, Bubby, when you wear the flag of a country as your cape, it's fucking political, dipshit.
Yep. Guess what? Alpha Flight political because they're Canadian. Go.
Cry hard,
Do you think he would be? Never mind.
chuds. Don't you know this show was always making fun of people like you?
It was.
Sheer fucking hubris.
Okay, let's get this over with. Yes, most people with functioning brain cells knew exactly what this show was and where its political sympathies lay. Nobody in their right mind looked at Homelander as a misunderstood hero that represented the voice of the masses. Nobody looked at Stormfront and thought, you know what?
Misunderstood.
Really? Nobody looked at it? Because you did.
You-
Fuck.
She's got a point there. Nobody clapped and cheered when the Deep forced himself on Starlight, and it's complete gaslighting to suggest otherwise. The show was never particularly subtle about its politics or what it expected its audience to take from it.
Pause
the difference,
it.
though, is that for the first couple of
So
seasons,
you think a man forcing himself on a woman is political? Fuck you, dude.
Ooh.
Did you just hear what he said?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's fucking piece of shit.
Nobody applauded that.
That isn't political. That's fucking human rights,
the-
you piece
by
of
the way-
shit.
by the
God
way-
damn.
By the way,
Why are we listening to this
so-
asshole? I'm getting my blood
it's-
pressure is
it's
going
a-
way
we
up.
can end it now. I mean, we're almost done.
Just end it now.
But here's the thing. By the way, he picks the most obvious, everybody knows is wrong sequences of that to be like, well, nobody agreed with that or did this, blah, blah. And it's just like, yeah, again, you pick the most obvious examples. But we're gonna ignore the other shit of like the VOT news or all this other
We
stuff.
can end it. I don't need to hear anything more of this shithead.
Oh, come on, we're almost done.
I don't really.
it was actually fun and entertaining because the creative focus was still on the story and characters.
It
and
always
believe it or
has
not,
been.
people can be surprisingly receptive to your political ideas when they're smartly presented and wrapped up inside an entertaining product. People can empathize with characters that embody ideas they don't normally support, as long as those characters are well written and likable.
Pause it
People are
again.
even capable-
So body autonomy is something you don't support clearly. Because you talked about the Starlight thing. You fuck.
I don't. Well,
That's what he was saying. He's like, he's saying he's making that a point of his
Oh, you're talking about
contention,
the
and he's
forcing
talking about
himself-
how people will empathize with your characters even if they have political shit that you don't agree with, if it's wrapped in entertaining whatever.
yeah.
So what are you saying about bodily autonomy, you
Yeah,
fucking
also-
douchebag?
Also, why would conservatives be okay with the Deep doing that?
Yeah.
Like, what? Again, taking a very obvious choice and being like, yeah,
But
most
laughing at
people are
themselves
going
when
to
you
say
point out the
no,
more absurd
that's
or
not
extreme
okay.
elements of their
That's the
worldview,
point.
provided you do it in a way that's actually funny and insightful. In each of these cases, though, the primary focus should always be on entertaining your audience instead of lecturing or pandering to them, and I think this is where the boys have finally come unstuck. The
Like
more
you
strident
pander
and
to your
political
audience,
messaging
you
becomes,
fucking
the less entertained people are
creep.
going to be, and the more of your audience you end up pushing away. Instead of uniting them with entertainment, you end up
I mean,
Well,
I
you
get
don't unite your audience with entertainment. You unite your audience with hate, critical drinker. So who's the fucking kettle here, man? Shit. I mean, honestly.
so what kills me about this is Drinker and the fuckboys, like Geeks and Gamers and Neurotic and
with something better than the fuck boys. That sounds like a bad '80s hair band.
yeah, that's a good point.
Get ready, the Bullet Boys and Fuck Boys are coming to Cleveland.
What about Fuckhead?
Skid Row and Faster Pussycat
It's Faster Pussycat.
and Winger.
Yeah, I don't know where to go with that. What about Fuckheads?
Sure. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Fuck brains.
I think we're done. I don't even need to hear that last time.
No, we're done with it. But I want to just I just like
it is.
it's funny to me that his whole angle in this video is like, well, of course I knew it was bad. I liked the first season and then it went woke the second season and blah, blah. And like to act like this I'm smarter than you persona that he's got, right?
Yeah.
But in reality what it is like, oh, great, I found a way to make money. Everybody's mad at season 4 because my audience is full of fucking idiots, and it took him 4 seasons to realize that this show has been making
all
fun of
his,
them.
videos like this where he talks
Hey.
over videos, like he never does it himself. Like he never does it live or anything.
No,
Like he
he's,
never has.
he's only on camera like rarely for like his other shows. and stuff.
So everything you put out is totally refined, like down to the final tiny point, man. We do this live, by the way. I mean,
Not really.
well, we
We
don't
record it.
We don't edit, is what I'm saying. Once we
Yeah.
start recording, we're done until we're done recording.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, all the points that we make are because we're smart. We don't have to sit there and write it out firsthand. And then I will say, good
people are
job
like-
putting all those clips together and stuff, but you probably have somebody to do that for you
And I
based on
said-
how much money you
They're
make.
like, hey, is this live? And I said,
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
Nice.
thanks, Mark.
We're done.
Don't forget he committed a hate crime. we gotta define
What are you talking about, bro?
where we could
Hey,
go
bro.
with like redemption, because it's like, I mean, it's hard to forgive that, you know.
Well, no, I don't consider him redeemed because
No, he's
he,
not.
He made a movie with Mel Gibson, sort of Will Ferrell, by the way, you fucking douche. Anyway,
Hey, if I was on that plane, 9/11 wouldn't have happened. Just saying.
yeah. Also, he's gone down this rabbit hole of like him and his brother of this like not quite alt right, but they're definitely like leaning that way. You know, his brother plays a cop.
I wouldn't say alt-right, I'd say
he's in
alt-world
bed with
brother.
High V, and High V is the fucking devil. So, yeah. Don't tell anybody.
No.
Don't tell anybody I work with that I said that.
All right, let's talk about some comics.
You know what? I want to make sure there's an armed guard protecting my bread.
You better believe I can put a hole in you, a hole in the wonder.
I'm the High V CEO, and I'd rather have a dead person in the aisles than a person feeding their kids over a loaf of bread.
You should have thought before you grabbed that peanut butter.
thought before you thought I gotta feed my babies. Okay. Well, look, man. I mean, what are you saying, Hy-Vee? We should probably censor some
Now
of
I'm
this.
imagining the fucking Hy-Vee SWAT team
There goes.
bringing down.
No, I'm talking about rabble.
Break.
Whip, whip, swing
Oh
the
shit!
web.
That was-
Oh shit.
It's a long box.
yeah, baby, it's the long books.
It's the linebacks. Hey, who loves you, baby?
I'm going first. Here's my long box, and I flip off Tyler, and that's the show. You know,
Nice job.
Why?
that's his.
The audience right now.
Yeah,
Why?
and you know what?
It's your fault. It's your fault. Be mad at yourself.
All right, Tyler. Newhart. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All I hear this fucking guy. First of all, thank you for dog sitting for me. But he's like, yeah, me and the dog, we watched Newhart until the wee morning hours.
It's a great show. You should watch it. It's really fucking funny. It's one of those shows that doesn't
Is it a fine wine? It's better with age.
fucking hey man. This is the third time I've watched through the whole series.
What's it about?
It's about a dude.
Newhart.
It's about a dude who writes how-to books, and he moves to Vermont and buys an inn, and it's about him and his wife and his wacky
Yeah.
handyman.
Where's the shenanigans?
And his wacky millionaire heiress maid. And
Why is she a maid? If she's
it's
a
complicated.
heiress?
You gotta
She's
watch
being
it.
humbled by her dad.
Did you ever hear the my name's
Probably.
Larry and this is my brother Daryl and this is my other brother Daryl? You ever heard of that? You're probably too young. Your
Yeah.
dad might have known it. I don't know.
Well.
If you guys, well, I don't think. When were
I was
you?
about to make a really morbid joke.
What were you born?
93.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't born in the 80s.
I wish I was. I haven't.
Because it was over by 89, so you wouldn't have. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about Newhart, though, because I've already talked
I
about
might
it.
have been swimming in my dad's balls.
Might have been swimming in my dad's bowls and rolling down the rapids.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day from our pedal off top.
Who were you a week ago? We could have fucking.
Fuck.
Damn.
There goes another marketing opportunity.
Save it for next year.
That's why we need a producer.
25. Father's Day 25. We got a fucking song.
The Hot 25. I'm sorry. This is
like that I said it like it's a video game.
Hot 25. So I'm in the process of watching a lot of movies that are older, kind of, like 50s, 60s.
I thought you were doing Newhart.
I'm not.
You fuck.
And I did. I'm doing The Dirty Dozen. And this is a movie that stars Jim Brown and it stars Lee Marvin and Charles Bronson
Keenen Ivory Wayans.
and Telly Savalas. This is way before they were born, dude. Well, actually, they might have been
Wasn't
born
Jim
by
Brown
then.
in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker?
Yeah, but Jim Brown is
Oh, he's old in that movie.
right. But he was
sorry, I
he was
derailed you.
done he was done playing football like by the 60s.
Yeah, he became a movie star.
He's actually in the movie that I'm watching right now called Ice Station Zebra, starring Rock Hudson.
He's great.
And Ernest Borgnine
He's-
and Patrick McGowan.
He is great in Mars Attacks.
Who?
Mars Attack.
Who?
Jim Brown. He's got the Pharaoh girl.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen. So this movie is kind of based off of. I looked it up on Wikipedia and kind of did a deep dive on the actual book that it's based off of. But Lee Marvin stars as this guy who's tasked with taking these 12 prisoners in. It's not Leavenworth because I don't think it was built at that time, but the federal army prison, whatever, armed forces prison. And there's 12 guys, and he's like, okay, you take care of this suicide mission. It's a lot like Suicide Squad, right? You guys take care of the suicide mission, and if you make it back alive, your sentence will be commuted. Now, about half of them are sentenced to be hanged, and the other half are sentenced for like life imprisonment, right? So it's to their benefit. But they also tell them this, hey, if any one of you guys gets caught escaping, you all go back. And you all go back to your sentences, right? So you're all dependent on each other, too. And it's a really pretty good movie.
It's kind of a lot to juggle 12 characters, though.
The thing is the main guys are like Jim Brown, Charles Bronson, John Cassavetes, who is also a director.
Is this pre-Death Wish? Like, when does this come out?
This is like 1950 something. It's definitely
Like
pre-Death Wish.
60s?
Death Wish was like late 70s. So Bronson did a lot of hero stuff, man. He did a whole bunch of before he did that fucked up anti-hero weird shit.
Hey,
Also, the original Death
you
Wish.
heard my Bronson? My Bronson's pretty good.
Wow, let's hear it.
Hey, what are you? Some kind of death wish? I know it sounds like the salesman guy from The Simpsons, but let's be honest. That voice is doing a Charles Bronson. Come on. Hey, what are we? Some kind of dirty dozen? Come on.
So
That's fucking pitch perfect. You just saw the perfect. You just saw the movie. Tell me I'm wrong.
nobody says that.
Well, not the.
So the movie.
I know he doesn't say that.
The book that the movie is based off of is actually written about this thing called the Filthy 13, and this was an actual group of armed services guys who did a bunch of shit during World War II, and they were nicknamed the Filthy 13. The big difference, of course, being that all of these guys in the original historical actual stuff that happened in Europe during World War II, none of them were convicts at all. They were all servicemen with records and I mean they weren't like in danger or in trouble. They
Yeah.
probably volunteered in a lot of aspects.
During Vietnam, they had like it wasn't uncommon for prisoners to go to war. Like I remember that
Right.
seeing things. I mean, yeah.
Well, right, but I'm saying like
I know, but I'm just saying like I heard most about it during Vietnam, but I know they'd done it in the past. and stuff like that.
it makes the movie more exciting if it's all like convicts. You know what I mean? So and
Yeah, I mean,
also
everybody loves a jailbreak movie.
Also, Dirty Dozen, you have that alliteration thing going on. Filthy 13, not really. Will you stop talking during my fucking long box? God! We already did the cold open where I'm a Red Lantern. Do you really want it? Okay. I'm sorry, Jake. He's catatonic with silence.
I'm on. I was off mic. I was laughing. I don't believe that bullshit.
Well, get back
Newhart.
to the movie. So, makes no sense.
He just
I was just gonna walk past that shit and go turn around like, oh, is that dog shit that I just walked in? No worries, I'm still on my way to my date. Fucking Christ!
I am the worst.
Do that again. That was great. do that. Play the thing again. I'm gonna do one.
This is how we skirt the copyright.
Yeah.
It's not Seinfeld. It's Newhart.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it this time, but play it.
We'll make a joke, fucker.
No, you play it, and then I'll say it at the end of the theme.
You
like
say
did.
Newhart?
No.
What are you gonna
Just play it.
Why?
Cheers. Silver Spoons.
What of all
Webster.
of all the sitcoms?
Golden Girls.
Could have said MASH.
Facts of Life.
Silver Spoons.
A-Team. Manimal.
Hold on.
Airwolf.
Hold on. Did you say Airwolf?
Yes. Starring Ernest Borgnine. and Jan Michael Vincent.
Go from
Knight
suicide
Rider.
is painless to Korea.
MASH. The 4077th. We are just
Yes, I
assholes.
threw the mic down because where do you go from there?
The
that was
movie,
not meant to be a
the
3-minute
movie
bit.
is a good it's a good movie. It's one of those guy movies that everybody's like, oh, Lee Marvin is a real man's man, whatever, dude. Yeah, I don't really get the whole like, let's kick each other's ass. That's how we show we're friends. Let's beat the ever living hell out of each other.
For Christ's sake. You know I hate that? I hate that bullshit.
Well, that's why it's like a guy movie, because there's a lot of like guy stuff go. I don't know what that means.
I will tell you right now. All my adult
do.
male relationships, at no point did I say, hey man, we gotta fight and then we'll become
We gotta
friends.
beat the shit out of each other, and
It's
then there'll be
bullshit.
respect.
It's just like men shouldn't cry. It's bullshit.
I cry all the time.
Cry ya, baby.
Every time I see my paycheck for this show, I cry. Nothing.
You know what I pay you?
$1 million, bitch.
You know, it's not so bad that I don't get anything. It's the fact that you take the time and the money to make up a mock check for me every 2 weeks that has my name and my address on it in the upper left, and then the date in the upper right. And you even sign it real, whatever. And it literally says 0 and 0 100ths. And you put it in the memo.
You know
You
what?
put for your contribution to the show, and that just is insulting.
You know
every
what?
2 weeks.
You know why I do that?
Why?
I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone.
Kind of like the guys in The Dirty Dozen, which is a great movie. Go check it out. That's my long box.
So is there any
Pew pew quip. Pew,
in that
pew,
movie?
quip.
In that
Well,
movie?
I mean, it's a good movie. Again, the action sequences are pretty good, and the characterization is actually really good for a movie of that time. But it's a war movie. You know what I mean? It's better than most. I would recommend if you haven't seen it to see it. To know what it's about, but I probably won't ever watch it again. In fact, Ice Station Zebra that I'll talk about next week is way better of a movie to me so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, I don't really have anything.
So let's quit.
Oh wow. So So this one's kind of weird because it's like a future long box in a way, but it's something that I've already played, and it's a story I already know, but I'm gonna go through it again with my wife, because I'm nostalgic, dude. Being someone who plays video games can be fucking frustrating. I think, sure, there's a lot of hobbies that can be frustrating, but I feel like video games especially because depending on your preference, every 5 to 8 years you're looking for a new console, and then you're dealing with the changes of the industry where I got to be honest, I hate to sound like elder millennial here, but I'm talking about Gears of War, and Gears of War comes from at least the original trilogy comes from just a different era of gaming, and the fact that like you can play that trilogy, and you can play 4 and 5's campaign co-op as well, but the fact that you can play that original trilogy with a friend, split screen all the way through, and them being a different character, not just a copy of you, like it would Halo, it would just be 2 Master Chiefs. Whereas this is like one of you is Marcus Phoenix, one of you is Dominic Santiago. Like they're actually these characters that have their own autonomy and things like that. So, I'm one of the few people that will defend the new games, like 4 and 5.
The nude games? What kind of fucked up?
But that original trilogy that Epic did is still holds up today, man. And those games. Kind of like you don't think about how much, especially in gaming, but and all related to like movies and things like that, or comic books or different things of like, you don't really appreciate how much when someone comes along and changes the status quo or changes things or changes how movies are made or changes how comics are written or how video games, like you don't appreciate it until you've spent so many years playing these other games, being like, oh, all of these mechanics from this game, all these like inspirations came from this.
Kind of like Madden,
dude. Well, like for me, it was Dune. Like experiencing those Dune movies, not knowing anything, and being like, wow, Dune inspired so many. Like it is like a bible for like modern sci-fi. Yeah. And it like there's aspects of Gears of War that feel like that with the cover system, with the what they call roadie running, and like. Where like you're running, but the camera shakes, and there's just this different level of intensity, and like the weapon variety. Like there's like, I can't wait to go back and play them, dude. I fucking love those games, and I think what I think sets it apart is just honestly how emotional they can be, and like how much you think about how from like the first game is like. They're figuring it out, kind of figuring out what this franchise is going to be. And then the second game and the third game just like completely perfect what that is. And then reiterate on it and make you give a shit. Because, I mean, Gears of War on its face is silly. Like, let's be honest. You're on a planet called Sera so S-E-R-A, this planet called Sera, and we're going to do a modern mythology at some point where I'll break down some of the lore of Gears of War.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's wild. But, like, it's these big, like, hulking men in this big set of power armor, and they say like dude bro shit, and like on its face Gears of War is like dude bro buddy cop comedy, like, or cop action movie where it's like high five and blah blah blah. But then you dig deeper in those other two games and you find out more and more just how deep these characters are and how important the relationship with Dom and Marcus is, and how they feel like they're brothers, and like and it's just it's just,
are they brothers?
No, I mean brothers in arms, became brothers through their service in the military.
Okay.
Which again, when we do a modern mythology on that, I want to point out how funny it is that before the conflict that you play in the games, in the lore, there is a 79-year war over this this fuel that's
a cabin in the woods.
Oh, there's a name for it, and I fucking forgot it. Emulsion. It's called emulsion. It's like this glowing like fuel. So there was an 80-year war between the COG
gets really high
and this other group, the United something Rebellion. I can't remember, but I want to wrap this up. So I'm just trying to be as quick as I can with this. But I'm saying that they engaged in a 79-year war over this resource, and then they ended the war. And then 6 weeks later, the enemies that you fight, the locusts, the like monster-looking alien things, show up and pop up out of the ground 6 weeks after they just finished a 79-year war. So it's just like these poor people, like they constantly are fighting. They don't know peace. And then,
Do they not know
do.
peace, or are they just dicks who just keep trying to conquer everything?
well, there's that too.
Well, fuck you.
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
Tyler, let's say goodbye to another episode. May it rest in peace.
May it rest in peace. Everybody knows that's resting in peace. Under the ground. That's a nice snap there, bro.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Learned it myself.
Learned it myself.
One day I was just playing with my fingers and I made a sound. That's how I imagine Elvis would talk to people.
One day I was just sitting around and then I came
And-
up with a song called Hound Dog.
And by that I mean the Jack White version of Elvis from Walk Hard.
Which
Hey,
is really funny because he didn't write.
Chinaman taught me that it's karate.
Or
two people know that.
Cuban people. Chinaman and me.
The king.
And the king. And one of them's me.
He like licked his fucking eyebrow.
Are we gonna? Let's not end on talking about Jack White as Elvis thing. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about
Modern
corn.
Mythology. Oh. Friday, first episode of Modern Mythology.
Friday, the first episode.
We're talking about Marvel.
We're talking about corn.
talking about G.I. Joe. Tyler's running the show, so it's going to be a little bit different. And then 2 weeks later, we're going to do the Red Lanterns episode, July 12th. That's another show that we do, Modern Mythology.
Hey, everybody have a great week.
And fuck the day.
Woo!
And hump the night.
Wow. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.